Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome to my channel. Can we talk? Are indie brands giving the people what they want more so than the more established mainstream brands? Let's talk about it. But first, if you like these types of videos, go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing because I do these types of videos along with other beauty related content here on my channel every Saturday. So, can we talk? This video came about because I was going to do another video. I was going to do a video about the makeup that I'm going to buy. So now if you've been following me here on my channel, I have been documenting my struggles with managing my makeup addiction and trying to spend less money on makeup, particularly eyeshadows and eyeshadow palettes and lip products, because those are like my main vices. And I've been doing very well thus far this summer. I mean, I've bought a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, I've been doing pretty gosh darn well. And I wish I could chalk that up to my phenomenal willpower, but I can't. It's mainly because there really haven't been any new releases that I've been excited enough about or interested enough in to want to buy. And right now I'm like itching for a scratch. Like I'm like a crackhead looking for her next hit. Like I want to buy makeup. And when I was thinking about doing the video makeup that I want to buy, I realized that all of the makeup that's going to be released at some point this summer is makeup from indie brands. All of them are from indie brands. And it got me to thinking, are indie brands serving the people what they want more so than the more established mainstream brands right now? Recently I purchased some color shifting eyeshadows from Dawn Eyes Cosmetics, an indie brand that I had never heard of before. I'm pretty sure that Trend Mood on Instagram had posted a video of these eyeshadows, and it's not to say that no one else is doing these shadows. I don't know that if this is unique to Dawn Eyes Cosmetics or not. I kind of think they're not, but I don't know. But I saw a video about these eyeshadows on Instagram and I was immediately intrigued and I was like, oh, and excited. And I was like, oh, I think I would want to try those. And I did pick up 4 of those shadows, and I did do a tutorial using 2 of them that I will link here. And I've really been enjoying them. And then now on Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of new things, eyeshadow palettes. I think they're all eyeshadow palettes. That are coming out this summer that I've been really like, oh my god, I can't wait, like I'm gonna buy it. So I was gonna do a video about these products because I've already decided I'm buying them. Okay, makeup addiction be damned right now, I'm gonna buy this stuff. And they're all from indie brands. For example, Colored Rain is coming out with they're coming out with a bundle of really colorful eyeshadows. I think it's called the Brights palette, and it's a bundle of these single bright eyeshadows, and they're going to offer it as a bundle, I think for like $45, and then there's a palette you can get along with it. And I think it's going to be released like later this month, and I'm like, I'm all for it. And I know that Makeup Geek recently released some Power Pigments, which are very similar. They were bright colored pigments. And from the reviews that I've seen, they didn't do a good job. So I'm really excited about the Colored Rain colorful shadows because I'm familiar with Colored Rain. Colored Rain makes great eyeshadows, and I'm of course I want to support a black owned brand, and I'm really excited. And there are a lot of people that have been looking for and waiting for colorful eyeshadows to be released, and it seems like the more established mainstream brands, your Tarte, your Too Faced, your Urban Decay, you know, all of those folks, everyone is putting out these warm neutral palettes. Like, that's been the trend now for quite some time, warm neutral palettes. And I understand that there's probably a bigger demand, a bigger market for those types of eyeshadows. I'm guessing that the majority of consumers like those types of palettes, those types of colors. People that don't want to wear bright or can't wear bright blue or greens to work every day. Beginners, people that are beginning in eyeshadow and maybe they're a little intimidated by bright colors. So I understand that the big brands, the mainstream brands, want to cater to the majority of consumers because, of course, that's better for their bottom line. If more of your customers want that type of product, of course, you're going to make products for the masses the majority as opposed to the minority. But what about the minority, us folks that would like to see bright colored eyeshadow palettes, that would like to see cool toned palettes? Like, can we get a little something too? Like, do we count also or nah? So I'm really excited about this upcoming bundle from Colored Rain. OPV Beauty, another indie brand, they're also coming out with a rainbow splash palette. And I don't even know what the colors are going to be in that palette. I don't even know if they know what colors they're going to put in the palette. But after seeing the packaging and the picture of the yellows and the lime greens, and it looks exactly like what people like me have been waiting for this summer. When Christian Dominique came out with her lemonade palette, it was like, oh, lemonades, yellows, lime greens, some purples, some pinks, and then her palette was kind of a letdown. I mean, it was really more pastel and neutral than what I was expecting or what I would have hoped for, and I feel like a lot of other people felt the same way. So this OPV palette, this rainbow splash palette, looks pretty exciting, and it's definitely something that I'm planning to get. I don't even know what the colors look like yet, but I'm already for it. Yes girl, yes. So in terms of bright colored eyeshadows, right now it's looking like indie brands are really looking to fill that need rather than the big brands. Case in point, Tarte Cosmetics. Let's talk about Tarte for a second. They came out some months ago. It was April, actually, right? April Fools, I'm sure y'all know about this. They came out with this picture of the Icy Betch palette, and it had all these cool tone blues and greens in it, and everybody was like, what? Tarte is coming out with the cool tone palette? Yes! People were lining up like, yes, finally. And then Tarte was like, April Fools, that was a joke. No, we would never do anything like that. And I was like, really, Tarte? Like, so you really don't think that there's a market of people out there that would want that type of palette? And lo and behold, they sure as hell ain't released nothing like it. They didn't release that, nothing. Like, I haven't heard anything about Tarte working on this palette. I haven't heard about any other mainstream brands working on this palette. But you know who did come out with palettes that were modeled after that Tarte April's Fool joke palette? Two indie brands, Sydney Grace and Face Candy. Sydney Grace put together curated eyeshadows that they already had in their collections that were similar to the eyeshadows that would have been included in that fake palette. Also, Face Candy came out with the Atlantis palette, which was pretty much like a dupe of this Tarte palette that was never released. And so there you have two indie brands that have said, you know what? People want it. We hear that the people were excited about this and they wanted these types of eyeshadow colors, and here, this is what we're giving. We're going to give it to them. And I don't hear the mainstream brands doing that. And what's up with that? Are indie brands, do they have their finger more on the pulse of what it is that people want? Are they more in tune to what we as consumers have been asking for and we're just not getting from the mainstream brands? Ace Beauty or Beauté I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but their brand, indie brand, I've never heard of before. But apparently they're coming out with like 4 different color themed palettes. Very similar to what Jaclyn Hill did with Morphe and the Vault palette, which that launch stalled out because apparently those eyeshadows weren't very good. So they yanked them off the market and are planning to fix them, I guess, get them right, and before they release them and launch them again. But Ace Beauty, they're coming out with 4 palettes, and they look really interesting. At least 2 of the palettes look like palettes I would be interested in. Like, I think a lot of other people, maybe not part of the majority, have been asking for. Blush Tribe, I've already put this on pre-order, okay? Blush Tribe, another indie brand that I only recently heard about. They have an Hasina palette that they came out with some time ago. I don't know how long ago, weeks, couple of months, of bright colored eyeshadows. And now they're coming out with the Hasina 2 palette, which is a palette full of cool toned purples and blues and greens, and you're probably not going to get a lot of different looks out of that palette, but it is something that we really have not seen, a palette of just cool toned eyeshadows. I mean, if that's not giving the people what they want, I don't know what is, and I'm all over it. It's going to be released, I think, or shipped, I think, in August, and I've already put in my pre-order because this is what I want, and it seems like the indie brands are the only ones listening to me. Now, more recently, Anasazi Beverly Hills has just, actually it hasn't released yet, I think maybe tomorrow or in 2 days is going to release, and it's the Norvina palette, and that palette actually looks kind of interesting to me. I'm not sure if those shades, a lot of those shades are going to show up on my skin tone, but just the tone of the palette, it's a more cool tone palette with some purples and lavenders and mauves, and then of course you have your neutrals mixed in there too, but that palette looks like it's just a step away from the warm neutrals that have been flooding the market. So I'm intrigued by that palette. When it launches, I will probably go in store and swatch it just to see what it's about and decide whether or not I'm going to get it. But aside from that, I don't see any other mainstream brands doing anything like that. So my question is, are the indie brands the ones we need to be looking to right now to give us what we want? Are they the only ones listening to us? Are they the only ones on Instagram with their ear to the ground listening to what it is that we want, reading the comments about, oh, we like these colors, we like that color, we want a cool tone, that how come someone's not doing that? I mean, it sounds like right now they're the ones that are making products that the mainstream brands are just not checking for right now. So I want, and I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Lord knows I don't even know the eyeshadow palette, but I'm excited, and especially since these are things that I've been wanting, and so now that a brand is going to release them, I gotta support, right? I can't go around saying, oh my god, I want some bright colored palettes, and then the bright color palette come out and I'm like, oh yeah, but I'm not gonna buy it. No. So I want to know from you guys 2 things. Do you think that the indie brands are more in tune to what it is that we as consumers are wanting from the makeup industry right now? And also, I would like to know, is there any makeup that's going to be released on the horizon that you're interested in, that you're excited about? Is it from a mainstream brand? Is it from an indie brand? I really like to know what you are looking forward to. Let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it, guys. Indies versus mainstreams. Who's giving us what we want, really? If you like this video, please go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing, because I do beauty related content here on my channel every Saturday, and when I'm feeling ambitious, I'll drop a little video on you on a Wednesday too. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye bye.